Welcome back. Well, we've decided to get some of the major players in this debate into the studio. And so we've got the CEO of the Petroleum Agency of South Africa with us, as well as Johnathan Deal, who's the national coordinator of the Treasure the Karoo Action Group. Now, PASA have asked that they aren't part of a roundtable debate, but rather come in after Johnathan. We've acceded to that, so we'll chat to Johnathan first, and then we'll have the CEO in a little later. Johnathan, welcome to 50/50.
Thanks very much. Great to be here.
Is fracking something that can be done properly and safely, or is it inherently dangerous for the environment?
My great friend, Mr. Bonang Mogale from Shell, and I say that because he and I have really been in a number of radio debates together already, will tell you unequivocally that they can do it safely, that they can do it without any problems. On the other hand, Mr. Tony Cortis, his chief mining engineer from America, will tell you that he can't give you 100% guarantee that it's foolproof. We don't believe that it can be done safely. And let's just look quickly at some statistics. There are 1,000 individual documented cases of well contamination in America. There's 7 large-scale documented cases where a community's drinking water has been affected. The state of Maryland has imposed a moratorium on it. New York State has imposed a moratorium on it. France doesn't want it. Germany doesn't want it. Canada doesn't want it. And our question is, why should we want it in this country until there's good information, until we understand the actual end game?
The chair of Shell South Africa mentioned that there were, I think, a million drilled holes he used in the States. There are 1,000 complaints. I mean, that's a 1 in 1,000 chance of things going wrong. That, to me, seems like quite good odds.
The Americans are very fond of saying, and it's a military term of theirs, you know, you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. That's wonderful, except that the omelette that they're looking at is a very biodiverse region. It's extremely water scarce. We just have to ask the people of Beaufort West that depended on us to bring them drinking water when we passed their town. It is an environment that has got no running surface water, and it cannot recover from pollution of its groundwater, let alone the enormous devastation on top of the land that would take place.
How enormous is the devastation? We're talking, in this particular application, about 24 drills, or over an area of 90,000 square kilometers.
The end game is full-scale gas production. And on a farm of a few hundred hectares, let's take it at the smallest thing, you might have a dozen well pads. Each of those well pads, when they're in production, can have between 8 and 12 operating wells. To bring them from nothing to a hole in the ground to a producing well will take more than 1,000 visits by trucks. So we multiply that, we end up at 8 or 12,000. And if you have 10 of those on a farm, you're up to 100,000 truck visits. And if you have a look at some of the images that are available on the internet to see what a fracked landscape looks like where large-scale gas production has been done, it looks like a chessboard. The impact on those Karoo roads and those communities is enormous. Sheep farming can't operate next to it. Tourism can't operate next to it. The villages can't. The fabric of the towns will disintegrate.
And yet, the Karoo is hardly a pristine landscape. It's been under stock farming for a century now, and none of those big herds of game that we heard about with the early explorers are still there. It's an area of the country that is desperately poor, desperately undereducated, desperately under-resourced. Surely an opportunity to bring some resources into the area have to be looked at?
Compared to the rest of the country, unemployment in the Karoo is not higher. It's quite a resilient community, and people think that because they drive through it for 200 kilometers without seeing anything except a few farmhouses, that nothing is happening there. But every day, tons of meat and tons of vegetables find their way into South African cities from the Karoo. And there's a biodiversity there that is not immediately visible. The plants of the Cape Floral Kingdom, things like the riverine rabbit that occur nowhere else in Africa, one of Africa's most endangered mammals, are right in the middle of all of this. And so there's a very good reason to protect that, especially if one is pursuing a resource that, by the words of the mining companies themselves, will last between 5 and 15 years.
Johnathan, thank you very much for coming to join us 50/50. Good luck.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.